Welcome to Rome, welcome to Poste Italiane, and welcome to GCSEC, the Global Cybersecurity Center. I now leave the stage to Mr. Massimo Sarmi, Chief Executive Officer of Poste Italiane and now Chairman of GCSEC. Thank you.
Thank you. Glad to see you all. I'm really recent in this my second experience of being chairman of the newborn center. Probably everybody is wondering why and how Poste Italiane is connected to this initiative. I have to say that I can satisfy you immediately because my consideration is the following. While electronic data transmission represents the most used communication means in the world, I have to say that we consider ourselves naturally minded to provide reliable communication services, as we were in the past when we were committed to provide the first electrical data transmission, the telegraph. And now, passing to more recent consideration, as you can imagine, we are in touch every day with millions of clients, and we want to be considered the trusted third party which ensure secure communication, logistic, and financial electronic service. As to this, I developed in the recent years a strategy which allowed us to offer a wide range of this kind of services, from mobile services to e-government to e-commerce. And these services are so commonly used that we are assisting and monitoring and managing every day more than 40 million transactions which are running over our nets and are coming, of course, from the internet. I told you that we are monitoring and managing it in real time. Real time now, the sound is too high. Something like real time is surely a key word for us, so it is the secure storage of all our clients' data. That's true when one out of our 13 million cards we issued between prepaid and debit is attacked, and in real time we are able to detect and to react immediately, trying to save our clients' data and, of course, money. As to this, we created, I'd say, a unique control system which is just 50 meters beside, and being in Rome, I have to say that it is one of the most visited sites after St. Peter's and Colosseum. There is a free entrance for the participants, of course, if you want to take a look. However, it's evident that we couldn't do all by ourselves because of the globality of the global nature of the net. And as to this, almost 2 years ago, I realized that despite what we did to try to secure our services, we needed a new strategy to support the evolution of the services and, unfortunately, the evolution of the threats. As to this, I started talking to various organizations, and I realized that again that all were working in isolation. And I remember in particular an interesting encounter I had in December 2008 with Rod Beckstrom, the CEO of ICANN. After a very interesting discussion, we considered and agreed that a new form of cooperation was needed. As to this, it came up the idea to create a cybersecurity center here in Rome. Consequently, I started with all the preliminary activities, and I have to say that one of our first achievement was the creation of a European electronic crime task force, which was founded by Poste Italiane, of course, the Italian state police, and the US Secret Service. And this task force is working. They had two interesting meetings, and what's more important, the cooperation, the natural trust between members and participants allowed an increase of identified and arrested cyber criminals. And of course, the task force will cooperate in synergy, in close synergy with the center. Finally, after 1 year and a half, it was the beginning of May, we founded at the notary's office the center, and the purpose, the main goal of the center is, of course, is a no-profit organization, no-profit foundation, which is entirely focused on cybersecurity, with the objective to develop and disseminate a culture on cybersecurity through international cooperation, education, and research. The model is a sort of multi-stakeholder model to form a community of trust where the participants are all committed to the same common goal, foster secure communication between users in an environment which is characterized on the one hand of free flow of information, but on the other hand should be characterized by social dialogue and ethic values. Coming to the point, we decided to start our activity with this current workshop on DNSS. You all know very well this technology, which has been developed during the last 10 years, and if I'm not mistaken, has been standardized in 2005. And of course, what we have to say that the technological features, the technological solutions are today available, but the adoption is still very limited. That's the reason why we invited here not only the best experts of the world on DNSS, but also all the other stakeholders which can give a contribution for the implementation, the promotion of this technology. Many key players are here today, from ICANN to US Department of Homeland Security, which drove the development of DNSS, NIST, ENISA, UPU, ITU. Will assist to a speech from Eduard Dayan, and we are honored to have him even if virtually I see him on the screen. And and of course many foreign governments and registries. Today, coming to the conclusion, I'm convinced that we have a great opportunity to we have in our hands a solution to mitigate the threats that could pose at serious risk the whole internet. We should do everything we can do to adopt and to support it. I recognize that there are still, as it happens, some open issues, but the right, hopefully, the right place at the right time is this one, to have a place where to discuss openly, to cooperate, and to come finally to a common solution. Now I want simply to thank you all the experts present, and I wish you all a constructive and fruitful meeting, and considering the fact that we are in Rome, the eternal city, eternal life to the center, and of course participants included.
I now leave the floor, or I should say the video, to Mr. Eduard Dayan, Director General of the Universal Postal Union, connected from Bern. Mr. Dayan.
Thank you, dear Andrea. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Massimo, and congratulations for having organized that important event. As you have mentioned, We are a partner for supporting and bringing our contribution for ensuring trust and security through Internet. But before starting and seeing some more, and in addition to what you have said there, Massimo, I think it's important to consider the postal sector as a key infrastructure for the development. UPU, which is a UN agency, is working closely also within the international order with ITU and the other organizations, has now a big experience for integrating the supply chain, giving opportunities to companies, especially small and medium companies, to trade, providing solutions for example, the migrant workers to send money in a sound manner to their family, and building globally a worldwide network fully interconnected, associating the different actors. Why UPU was able to sign that agreement with ICANN, it was because we are, due to our position as a UN agency, an organization can gather every actors, every stakeholders, besides the government, the operators, customer organizations, etc. And we can cover the different areas where there is a need. For example, regulation, standard, technological solutions, or also developing some rules for ensuring the protection of the data, commercial information, etc. One key element is the trust. Without trust, there is no possibility to develop any kind of activity. And today, with Internet, we know that there is some threat, and we have to develop collectively a certain number of solutions. Trust is very important as for the postal sector, as we have observed after the last financial crisis. You know what happened for the post, like Poste Italiane, which offer financial services. We saw the customers withdrawing their money from the banks for investing the money through the post, because there was a lack of trust. And I think the postal sector, by the relationship with the customers, the presence everywhere, and the possibility to integrate the different elements are required for helping, for example, the e-commerce, supply chain, electronic exchanges, payment system. The postal sector, as part of the communication world, could develop a solution for giving the possibility to Internet to be well developed everywhere, knowing that in our position as UN agency, our role is to develop also policies for helping every members, including the developing countries, to have a sound access to the worldwide network. And it was not a surprise to see UPU being the first UN agency signing an agreement with ICANN in December. Massimo was and Andrea were present with me when we had to sign that agreement with Rod Beckstrom, because we have anticipated that evolution. And now we have we are the first UN agency having a top level domain, and we through the concept of .post, and we have started to develop guidelines for developing the regulation using the ICANN standard, and developing, launching, I hope before the end of this year, the first services. Could be, for example, traditional services being adapted to the ICANN environment. An example, we had a registered mail, we could have tomorrow e-registered mail. I don't want to anticipate what our one of our best experts, with Paul Donao, e-business manager in UPU, will make a presentation for providing you the maximum of information regarding the .post project. Knowing that, and I have here to thank again Massimo and Agostino Ragosa and all the Italian team for the trust which was established with UPU and the full and strong support we are receiving for developing that important project. We believe that .post will be a trusted and secure space for communication, e-government, e-commerce exchanges. And we are delighted to be able to work with the Cyber Security Center to enhance the security of the postal activities, especially through the .post project. And another event showing how UPU is changing, it was a possibility I have today to be part of your conference through a video conference. And I think now I wish you all the best in your important conference, knowing that we will be very interested to develop and to establish a strong connection between your organization and UPU for building a world which is more confident and better for everyone all over the world. I wish you all success in your discussion. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Dayan. I know that you have another meeting now, so I thank you very much for your participation. Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank Poste Italiane for the wonderful organization of this event, for the great support that Poste is providing to this new project, the creation in Italy of this global cybersecurity center. And as Mr. Sami had the opportunity to say, the postal sector is deeply connected to information security and cybersecurity. If you think, I mean, the postal operators started, delivering mail, making sure that the recipients receive the email, protecting it during its transit. And also the intelligence and the first information intelligence was born inside the postal sector. Back in the 19th century, the first secret room was born in the United States, in the post office. You are, in particular, for the people that is not from Rome, you are in an area that was built before the Second World War, and what is considered one of the most beautiful buildings in this area is called the Square Colosseum. And I hope you will have the opportunity to see it. It's an icon of the fascist architecture. It was completed in 1940. And at the top of each of the four facades, looking north, south, west, and east, there's an inscription in capital letters. In Italian is un popolo di poeti, di artisti, di eroi, di santi, di pensatori, di scienziati, di navigatori e di trasmigratori. That in English sounds a nation of poets, of artists, of heroes, of saints, of thinkers, of scientists, of navigators, and travelers. All around this building, there are 28 marble statues representing music, handicraft, commerce, industry, archaeology, history, architecture, mathematics, chemistry, medicine, geography, physics, painting, and the corps of engineers. Isn't it the internet today? A nation or a community of diversities where everybody, from poets to businessmen, students, researchers could access, develop, and disseminate knowledge. And we well know that today, knowledge is power. Internet has become and is a tremendous tool to promote stability and peace. It has not only become essential for some services that we all use every day. I mean, we rely on our email, on our mobile phones, on the web, online banking, but we also need internet for some invisible uses, like the electricity, the mass transportation, public administration, defense. They all operate thanks to information and communication technology. I forgot to show you a picture of the building I was referring to. I hope you will have the opportunity to see it, and that's the inscription. I don't have to convince you how much internet and ICT are at risk. Most, if not all of you, are experts. We assist every day to how vulnerabilities are leveraged to intrude our systems, our services, and our networks, with often the intent to steal our identities, our money, or our intellectual property, or simply to slow down or deny the services that we provide. In a recent survey, only 12% of the European citizens declare to feel safe making transactions on the internet. 39% of EU internet users have major doubts about safety. And at the end, this is lost businesses for our companies. A lot has been done to protect the internet and its services. And at the end, internet is still there, despite all the catastrophic forecasts. But this should not become an excuse to do more. With the creation of the Global Cybersecurity Center, also known as GCSEC, we have the objective to develop and disseminate a culture of cybersecurity through the international cooperation, through the education, and through research. And we think this can be done only joining our forces. As the chairman just said, we realize that cybersecurity is an important issue for everybody. That is why GCSEC has been built on the mega community model, where governments, private companies, academia, international organizations, industry, they all come together to work on cybersecurity. We at GCSEC, we are developing many strategic partnerships. It's true that we are only 54 days old. As Mr. Sami said, we created legally the Center of Excellence on the 7th of May, but we started working on this project more than 2 years ago. And after the summer, we will announce some very important partnerships. We're partnering with leading worldwide organizations to bring the brightest talents, experts, decision makers to participate to the activities of GCSEC. And now we come to the activities that we're planning to carry on in the center. International policy and cooperation is such an important area. Internet is one, is interconnected, and at the end, we all share the same threats and the same issues. And we need common solutions, so we cannot solve these problems just by ourselves. That's why international cooperation is so important. And despite the many declarations and commitment from, I would say, almost every organization, there's still a lot that needs to be done, in particular on the cooperation. So that's our first objective, to promote international cooperation. I think today's workshop is a first demonstration on how we want to move on. Education and training. We cannot approach, manage, and control the security on the internet without educated professionals. So we need to do a lot more to have talents trained, skilled, not only on cybersecurity as a technical aspect, but as decision makers in their respective roles. Information sharing and research are other two very important areas that we already started developing, and in a minute I will let you know which are the activities that we already plan to start in the near future. We will have a workshop with ENISA in this same room on the 7th and 8th of October. ENISA, as you know, is the European Network and Information Security Agency. ENISA joined our workshop. They've done a study on DNSS, and they will speak tomorrow. But with them, we will organize this specific event on information sharing in Europe. And we will have participants from most of the EU member states. We're also planning a workshop on IPv6, the Internet Protocol version 6. And again, after the summer, we already got a commitment from many experts to support our workshop and help governments, the private sector, the operators to understand how to implement and which are the difficulties that today are slowing down the implementation of IPv6. In a few months, we will run out of IPv4 addresses, so we really need to also focus on this subject. Again, DNSS. We start today with this awareness and planning workshop, but after the summer, we will organize a very technical specific training on DNSS.